you can see that this is a board as it looks now, and compared to a similar board in the old layout, we made a couple of differences and changes. So first of all, here we were reusing the week and day toggle from pool planning as the label, and that really didn't make a lot of sense. It cuts off longer labels very quickly, and it didn't look like a label at all. We also kind of always launched into the settings when clicking on the titles here, so that took quite a few clicks to make changes here. And then also the settings dialog was getting fairly complicated. So we wanted to simplify a couple of those things. And this is what we went for. So ideas, the title, of course, still takes most of the space, but it's very easy to just click here now and make changes here. You see the label as it also gets displayed on an element like that. You have the option to add a separate description if you would like to be a little bit more precise what should fall into the respective column, or even for the sections as well. So that could be a start and an end date like we had before, or could be any sort of text right now. We also have streamlined the way to set the column label. So if you click here, you can copy over the old one, and if you want to change the label, you can just click on it and it will take you to the label right away, and then you can make changes here directly. And then if you open up, you see that we have opted for a lighter color scheme. You have this colored bar on the bottom, which in that case signifies that that is a section. And then if you close it again, without that bar, with a little bit of a stronger color, you are in the column itself. So we also cleaned up the board settings a little bit. So we introduced a separate category for the different interactive labels that you can show and hide now. And they will appear and disappear both on the title here, as well as on the elements. So if I hide these, you can see that disappears. And the same goes for the sections as well. So very nice, clean look for that right now. Next is a couple of more options to set up the board. So we had a couple of options to create subsections and reorder them, but that required you to go into the settings, go into the column sections, and then add a section in here, and then reorder here as well. That was only available on sections. So you could, for example, not add an additional column, for example, on the very left if you wanted to do that. And that is now possible via the context menu here. So if I click on that, you can see I can either expand or collapse sections. I can move that column to the left and to the right. Same works for sections as well. And then I can also say I want to add a new column, for example, here on the left. And that could be, let's call that inbox. I can copy that quickly, assign a different color. So I don't have to rename and reshuffle all of the elements. I can do that very quickly from that menu. And if I end up not needing that column in the first place, I can delete it from that context menu as well. And last but not least, we also looked at different ways how you can place elements in a section like this. So our default layout is, if you drop elements, that they will always flow to the top. So they will always stack up. So they're very space efficient. However, that might not be what you want in certain cases. So we have had the weekly planning layout, for example, before, where you could freely position those blocks to signify specific time blocks throughout the day. And we wanted to bring back that functionality. And we have actually gone a little bit further than this. So let me navigate over here. And then we can take a look at two different examples. So if I open this one up here, we have a timetable. And here we have changed the layout from align top, which would flow everything to the top, to fit column. And fit column changes the width of anything I drop here to fit the column. However, you can freely position it vertically. And that allows you to do kind of these timetables, for example, but it can be used for any sort of placement where the position vertically, group elements together. If you want to, use that to signify some other property, that is definitely an option now. And it still works with the interactive labels. So if I click on here, I can move that to a different day, and it will jump to the exact same position. And if I move it to another one, it will also overlay here in that case. So if you would want even more freedom to move things around, we have also introduced a free placement option. So you can see here, I have a brainstorming column here, and if I open that up, I actually have a couple of notes in here that are completely freely positioned. So I can move these around in that section as I want, but also, of course, move them out of the section if you want. Move them back in. And then as I collapse that, they get shrunk down so that they save a little bit more space. And you can then also sort them here to, for example, show different groups that belong together. So you have kind of a nice visual summary of that elements as well. And then if you want to dive into the details, you can open it up again. So again, a way to have both a very compact overview that gives you information on the high-level topics, but also the option to then open up and kind of go into details. And one change that we applied at the same time here as well is this set here, use compact tickets in collapsed view. That normally only got applied to Jira and Agility tickets, but it now also gets applied to normal nodes. So if I activate this, we render all of the normal nodes in kind of a small view. If I double click, it will expand temporarily, and then as I confirm, it goes small again. If I turn this off, then all of the individual items will go back to their original height. So it's an option that you can take depending on your own needs. You can use either this or the actual height. And as soon as you open up, the tickets will, of course, be displayed with the correct height.